Okay, here's 2.2, and it's a little more complicated than the first one, but I'm going to take you through it one mouse click at a time, and so I'm sure you're going to be successful. But before we dive in, I want to just take a little tour here and talk about dimensioning. So I'm sure you can figure out that from here over to here is 2 inches, and that from this line here down to this edge here is 1.5 inches. What is it over here from here down to here? Well, it's also 1.5 inches. General rule of dimensioning is put the least amount of dimensions on the drawing that you can, and if the item looks symmetrical, this 1.5 inches applies to this area over here, even though it's not there. This is an arc right here with a radius of 1 inch. Where's the center of the arc? It's right there. Again, that is implied, and that this is a 90-degree arc. If it was less than that, it would say so. This is a semicircle right here. It is also has a radius of 1/2 inch. Other than that, it's pretty straightforward drawing. So let's go ahead and get started. So let's go ahead and go into SketchUp. We're going to create a new drawing in feet and inches. I'm going to go to my top view. Before I do anything else, I'm going to click up here and save this in my SketchUp folder, in my 2D drawing exercises folder, and I'm going to call it 2.2 Eric Westland. Just like that. So now it's going to constantly save for me every now and then, which is nice. So I'm going to take, that's the lady right there, so I'm going to delete her, and then I'm going to bring in that drawing. So there we go. Insert from my computer. There it is right there. So I'll double click on it. I'm going to insert it as a image. And now it's attached to my mouse cursor. So I'm just going to left click once to place it. And then just kind of drag like so. And make it who knows what size. And I type in T for tape measure. Maybe click from that lower corner to this corner. Right now it's 2 feet. I want it to be 5 inches, so I'll type in 5 inches. I'll hit enter. It asks me if I want to resize it, and I say OK. So then I go Shift Z to zoom it up, and I'm just going to kind of move it over here. And so now I'm going to make the start of a 5x4 box, just like before. So R for rectangle. And I'll just put it there, and I'll pull this up, and I'll type in 5,4. And we've got the basic shape here. Now, we need to measure over 1.5 inches, and so I'm going to put in some guidelines. And I haven't done this before, but they are super handy. And you put them in with a tape measure. So I'm going to type T for tape measure, and I'm going to come over and click somewhere along this edge. And I'm going to pull it across, and I'm going to type in 1 space 1/2 for 1.5 and hit enter. And now the distance from this edge to this guideline is 1.5 inches. I'm going to do the same thing over here. Just pull it over, type in 1.5, hit enter. And then let's see here. Let's see, what's this height right here? Okay, I can see right here, this I don't know what this height is, and that's because when I made this drawing for you, I left out a dimension, but it is 1/2 inch or 0.5 inches. So I'm going to use my tape measure tool, and I'll fix that for you, by the way, before you start this assignment. So I'll type in 0.5. And I'm going to take my line tool, click, click, click over to here, and click up to this intersection, and then erase that line. Okay, so let's go shopping down here. Okay, so that's over 1.5 inches. Well, we already have that guideline in right here vertically, don't we? And then this goes over 2 inches, which is the same amount up here. So that's good. So all we need to do, right, is come up 1 inch. So let's do that. T for tape measure. Don't grab it in the midpoint, by the way. Just grab it to where you get that little red box. I'm going to pull up, type in 1 for that. Then these circles here have a radius of 1/2 inch. So C for circle. So I'll put it right there in that intersection. So I'll just type in 1/2, hit enter. I didn't do it that time. Not quite sure why I got that error. So let's see, let's go ahead now, and we need to zoom in because see the circle right there? Remember, it's only got 24 edges, so it doesn't really get the top of the circle, does it? So you can either pick this point and come across to this point where there's the intersection, or you can come down here and pick it from there over to, instead of up here, right about there. Doesn't really matter. You could even come and click to this point and then draw a line like that, and then draw a line that comes up to there, down to there. And then when it comes time to erase, or actually let's show what we got here. We have a face there. Every time you draw a line, it splits a face. We've got a circle there, we've got a circle there. So this is as good as we can do, but it's going to be great, you know, when it comes to 3D modeling or anything like that. So I'll take and type in E for erase. Erase that line, that line. Oops, that wasn't right. I want to erase this arc and that arc. There we go. And then I'm going to come up here, and because the way I drew the circle, just need to get rid of that little extra stray geometry there. And come around, look, and see that's kind of a little goofy there, so I'm just going to kind of make it look a little bit better. I'm going to go along the red axis to that edge, and then erase that part right there. So that looks a little bit better. And then this inside surface, I can select it and delete it. So now we come to the part that's just a little bit trickier. We need to come up here 1.5 inches. So we'll use our good friend, the Mr. Tape Measure again. We will pull up, and I'll type in 1.5. And it happens to be the same as this right here. So that makes sense, I guess, doesn't it? And so now we need to take and make an arc. So the radius of this circle, let's zoom in here so you can see what I'm talking about. There's the center. In other words, it's floating out here somewhere on our actual model. So we need to establish that point right there. And so because the radius is equidistant regardless of where this arrowhead touches the circle, that means that from here straight up to here is 1 inch, or from here across to here is 1 inch. And so we could do this. We can take and click on our tape measure and pull this up 1 inch, hit enter, and then type in or go to our arc tool here. Now there's several arc tools, and we're going to want the first one here. So we'll go ahead and click on that, and I'll put my center right there. Then I'm going to come across 1 inch, and then after clicking, I'm going to sweep down to here like that. Okay. Another thing that you could do if you wanted to do it this way, you just type in C for circle, because isn't an arc just part of a circle? Of course it is. So we'll just come down here like this, and then we'll erase the parts that we don't need, such as that piece and that piece. Oops. Nope, didn't want to do that yet. Not quite yet. So then I'm going to draw a line up here like this to complete that part. And then I'm going to erase this geometry right there and that line. And to complete this one, I'm just going to draw from this endpoint right up there and erase that. So it's looking pretty good. Let's check it with some dimensions. So again, I'll go Shift Z so that I can see just about everything. I'm going to move that over. We don't need it right now. And I'm going to go to my dimensions, which is nested down here with the tape measure tool. I'm going to click on that. I'll click on this whole edge. Notice how it highlights blue. So I'll pull out there, that's 5 inches. And then I'm going to grab this point, an inch and a half, and then I should be able to go from this point to this point and line it up with this dimension right here, down here, and click. Let's see, I need to go from here. Nope, that's not very good. Let's see here. Let's go from this center down to this line and then pull over sideways. And that's 1 inch. What else we got? Okay, let's go to this arc, click, and put in the radius of a 1/2 inch. To put in this 4-inch dimension here, I'm going to click on this endpoint. Whoops, clicked on the wrong thing there, hit escape. Click on this endpoint and this endpoint, and see how you can pull out 4 1/8. Sometimes you want to do that, but in this case just kind of mouse down till it gets straight up and down. So we'll put that in, and then we'll pick from this point to this point, and again just kind of come up, except that wasn't picked the wrong point there. I'm going to go from this point to this point, and again just kind of pull up to where it says 1.5 inches, and then you can click on this line and pull up and line it up with that dimension to where it says 2. And let's see, we're almost done here. You can do this half over here, so I'll just click on this whole line segment and pull that out 1.5 inches. And then I'm going to go from this endpoint to this intersection up here and pull that out 2.5 inches. Then I'm going to click on this arc, right click, find the center. So there's a little tick mark there for the center of the arc. I'm going to do the same thing over here. It's just good practice for dimensioning. And then with the dimension tool still selected, I'll click on this arc. I'll pull it up through the tick mark like that. And that's looking pretty good. I think that's done. Now, all these guidelines, we don't want to erase them in case we need to come back and fix a mistake. And so let's see, I think they hide it right here with the glasses. That's your display. So I click on that and I uncheck the guides, which does not erase them. If I click on this button to delete all the guides, then they're gone. But this just hides them for me. So I'll go ahead and put that back. And then I'm going to use my select tool to select this drawing, and I'm just going to hide it, and I'm going to save my work. And once it's saved, I'm going to hand it in by going to print. I'm going to hold down my shift button and then my left mouse button to kind of fill up the page here. That looks pretty good. So print to PDF, continue. 2.2 Eric Westland's fine. I'll save it. And then I'm going to go ahead and open it up. It wants to print it, so we'll just click cancel. But there's our completed drawing 2-2.